All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live here on Radio Row here in the George R. Brown Convention Center on the third floor. And with me on Radio Row is Kansas City's very own, formerly 610.
Yep.
610 Radio, and formerly of Houston, as a matter of fact. The one and only Nick Wright. Nick, thank you for joining me on the show. And how are things going on FS1?
Everything's going good. Having a great week of shows. We're live from right outside these doors at Discovery Green. Every day, Undisputed, then The Herd, and the show I've been working on this week with Garbage Time with Katie Nolan, then Foxwoods Live with Jay and Dan, and then finish off the day with Speak for Yourself. So it's been great. Had 4 fun shows with Katie. Hope to finish off the week strong on Friday, and so far everything's been great.
How has life been for you? I know the last time we talked was right around the Final Four time last year when you got, when the news broke about you going to FS1. How has the transition been?
I think it's been great. My wife and kids are still in Houston, so I go back and forth a lot. That part's been tough, but the job's been great. I couldn't work for better people. I really like what the network's doing. I think we're making really good inroads against the competition. And
you can say ESPN.
And I think we've made some really smart hires. And we just added Chris Carter to the team, and he's extraordinary. Skip and Shin do a great job. We just added Greg Jennings, and Greg might be a better broadcaster than he was even football player. Greg's just
he's that good.
Yeah, he's really, really good. I've been doing TV with him all week, and so we've had a lot of really smart, fun, cool people, and it's been fun to work. And the people at Fox treat me great, so I got nothing but good things to say.
What if any has the transition been like? Has there been anything that you've needed to get used to since going out there?
To me, the biggest difference is going from thinking and doing topics for local or national radio versus doing them for national television, because it is different. Radio lends itself to more storytelling, maybe more long-form stuff, and national television in particular, but especially national television, it's more about what are the big stories of the day and how can I, what are different angles I can come at them with. So it's just training my mind away from a local radio perspective, which is what I've done for almost a decade. That's probably been the most difficult, but also maybe the most fun part of the challenge of the new job.
Man, I've got to ask, when are we going to see you and Chris on your own radio show?
Because
rumor has it, as a journalist, I keep my ear to the ground, but rumor has it that you and Chris going to get a show, and it's going to be based out of New York.
So I read that article as well. I don't know what's gonna what we're going to be doing, if Chris and I are going to be doing something. I know that Chris, whenever Colin's off, Chris and I fill in together, and that's been a tremendous amount of fun. And I think I could not speak highly enough about Chris. Obviously he's a star, and he's one of the greatest wide receivers ever, but he's been so nice to me and my family, and he's been really, really one of the best parts about my now 8 months in Los Angeles has been the last 2 months since Chris and I got to know each other. I don't know and that's the honest God's truth, I don't know what the plans are moving forward, but anything involving working with Chris, I would sign up for in a heartbeat. He's been great. And
it's funny because obviously you bounced from Houston to L.A. with the possibility now you might be bouncing from L.A. to New York.
Right. Yeah, a lot of move. That can be one of the, Kansas City to Houston to Los Angeles. In some ways it's some of the coolest part about the job is that you get to experience different cities, different cultures. Also, though, when you have a wife and kids, that can be one of the more challenging things. But I got no complaints. I got basically the best job in the world. So
how is Danielle and the family adjusting?
Everyone's been great. It's been tough with them because our oldest is finishing high school. So that's why they're still in Houston and I'm in LA. So I go back almost every weekend. This week's been amazing because I get 10 days with them while I'm working. So that part's been that has probably been the only downside, is that I'm not with them every day, but come June, they're all going to move out, so it'll be all good.
All right, let's talk some sports now.
Yep.
We're here for Super Bowl 51.
Yep.
Is this the very first Super Bowl that you're going to be able to cover, the game? Or what?
I won't go to the game, but this is the 5th year in a row I've done the Radio Row stuff. Ever since I went down to Houston in 2012, I started covering the game. So I did, if I didn't get the order right, New Orleans, and then New York, then Phoenix, then San Francisco, and now this one in Houston.
Okay, now who you got Sunday and why?
I think Atlanta's going to win.
What?
I do.
Nick, no. I had hope for you, man. No.
I think Atlanta's offense is just too dynamic. The Patriots are obviously an amazing team, but they have beat up on a lot of really bad quarterbacks. Yeah. Matt Ryan's going to be league MVP. This Falcons team is going to finish the year as one of the 3 highest scoring teams ever.
Hey, you can change my pick.
I just don't know if New England can slow them down. I think it'll be a good game, but I feel like this is a 35-32 type of game, and if that's the case, I like Atlanta.
I got it 38-35 New England. I got Tom Brady coming back at the end.
That would be great.
Getting that 5th one. Like I said,
I hope New England wins, actually.
Okay.
But I'm rooting for New England because I have so much respect for Brady and what they've built. I think Atlanta has somehow flown under the radar, and this team has scored more points than the greatest show on turf Rams. Once they are 16 points away from becoming the 3rd highest scoring team ever, behind only the 07 Pats, the undefeated Pats, and the 2013 Broncos, Peyton's 2nd season in Denver. So this Falcons offense is so dynamic. I hope New England wins. I just think Falcons have a little too much for them.
Now, you like the quarterback play, I take it?
Yeah.
What's it going to take for Kansas City to make that next level? Because I am of the inkling that Kansas City just cannot get it done with Alex Smith.
Yeah, I foolishly, after being an Alex Smith denier this year, I foolishly bought in, and I thought they were going to be playing this week. I did. I thought they'd beat Pittsburgh, and I thought they'd beat New England. And New England seemed in their first playoff game against Houston a little wobbly early on. I thought the Chiefs matched up well with them. The Chiefs couldn't get past the Steelers, so it was irrelevant. If you're Kansas City, there's a strong argument to be made to go after Romo if he's available. I don't think that's where he'll end up. I think Romo's going to end up in Denver or Houston. But yeah, you're in a rough spot with Alex Smith because he's too good he's not so bad that you just know you got to get rid of him. But I do not think he's ever going to be good enough to get you exactly where you want to go.
So this is the first Chiefs going to make it then with him?
Yeah, if you can't beat that flawed of a Steelers team when you have a bye, when you're at home, when they don't score a touchdown, then I don't know how you win 3 consecutive or 4 consecutive playoff games, which is what you need to do to win the Super Bowl.
Kansas City Royals, man, what you think about them? And obviously with the passing of Darno Ventura.
Yeah, that's tragic for him and his family and any Royals fans and people that worked with him. It's kind of craven, morbid talk about it from a baseball perspective, but from a baseball perspective, obviously it's devastating for the team. I think the Royals' window is one more year before they are going to lose a lot of these guys to free agency. I would like to see them go after it. The team is good enough, I think, to compete for a playoff spot, and baseball more than any other sport, once you're in the playoffs, it's all, there's 8 teams are going to make it, or I guess 10 now make it, but really 8 teams once you get past the coin flip games.
Right.
Then, no team is a heavy favorite. The Cubs, the Cubs were the best team in baseball this year, and it was still, tied in the 9th inning of the World Series, of the 7th game of the World Series. So I think they should be able to make the playoffs with a couple right moves, and if that happens, then who the hell knows?
If there's anything you miss about Kansas City, what would it be?
The food and the people. I miss the barbecue and Stroud's, and I miss the people.
And hold on, who did you go to for barbecue?
I am not a Gates guy. I know it's devastating. I love
you, but that hurts.
I love Bryant's. I love
Really?
Bryant's. Burn-ins and pulled pork is some of my favorite food in the world. I happen to think the very best barbecue joint in the country is Jack Stack. But Jack Stack's different because it's, white tablecloths, it's expensive, it's like a nice restaurant. But I think if you're talking about the hole-in-the-wall type of places, I think it's Brian's. If you're talking, any barbecue you can have, I'd say Jack Stack.
Now, when you get your show, you and Chris, I presume you're still going to be talking about stuff that you talked about here in Kansas, back in Kansas City, these social justice issues. I'd love to get your thoughts, time permitting, on your schedule, on where you think the country's going now with, Trump in office.
Yeah, well, and I don't know if Chris and I are getting a show, but whatever I do, I'm never
going to speak it into existence.
Appreciate you. I never shy away from talking about that stuff. I think we're at a very interesting and critical time for our nation, and people, listen, you get the government that you deserve to a degree, and I understand the popular vote, but the reality is about half the country, any election that's close comes down to some luck in some states, and about half the country, whether Trump had won or lost, when 48% of the people that went out and voted wanted him. There's a lot of people that like his vision. It is not the vision that I support. It is a vision that I believe to be dangerous and sad. But when
you don't get out to the polls.
Well, no, not only just that. It's just like we've got to recognize that for a lot of people, it's what they wanted, and what that means about us and our nation, and what we want to be, and what our country wants to be. That's what these next few years are going to be about. Like, do we want more of a nativist, autocratic, regressive, protectionist society, or do we want more of a progressive, warm, I would almost say, democratic society? And that is not as easy of a question to answer for a lot of people as I wish it were.
There you have it. Words of wisdom from the great Nick Wright, sports host out there at Fox Sports 1, representing Kansas City and Houston very proudly. Nick, I thank you as always, man, and I appreciate it and wish you nothing